This is Book 6, Chapter 9. All right. Oops. I have a little small thing we're going to be doing at the end as well. Or we can do it now. What I want you to do there's this activity that I did, or an exercise that I've done with my missions team when I went on a missions trip to Thailand, called the encouragement game. All right. What I want you to do within your group of uh, men and women over here. Okay, so two groups. You can stay exactly where you are, but I want one person to start off and then sort of, just point to whomever in the group, and hopefully everybody can get maybe at least 3 turns. So we'll go ahead and start off, let's say, with John over here, and then with Nasifu over here. We're not going to do it in front of each other, but within your groups, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to point to one person in your group and then say something encouraging to them. Maybe it's along the lines of, thank you for being, faithful to our TE course. Your presence means a lot. Something like that. Okay. Not saying that it has to be about TE, but just say something encouraging to them. And then when their turn is done, they will point to someone else in the group and say something encouraging. And hopefully, let's save time. Everyone gets about 2 encouragements. All right? And so, John, you can go ahead and start in your group. And then this over here, you can start in your group. All right, I'll give us about enough time for everybody to get at least 2 words of encouragement per person. All right, go ahead and begin. Let me put some background music here for now. All right. How we doing? All done? All done? All done? Well, perfect. That's nice, isn't it, right? Let's make our way back here. I always love our encouragement exercise or game that we just you know do because it's sometimes it is very encouraging. So, and I don't believe that. I'm not saying that we are um, we're falling short on encouragements, but I don't believe we do enough of it. Okay, and so hopefully that's a good exercise for you all and something that we can practice as a part of our ministry homework as well to go off and encourage other people too. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our lesson for today. There's one that I'm not going to go too far into because but I do want us to look at this supplement 4 map here that I printed out for us. It's also in the back of your book too. Just the difference between the Roman province and the native province. We see that there's a large or small stream, but to going to large body of water that separates the provinces here. There's quite a bit of difference when you compare Cicero with the Cicero Philippi, okay? And also, one thing that I want you all to go and take a look at on your own in regards to this as well is to name the 6 Herods mentioned in the New Testament and the native provinces over which they had governed. And you can go through 9a3 through 9a3 to 9 in your book for that. Why don't we turn to that really quick? Go to 9A, okay, unit 9A 9, and then it'll, I think you all can remember too if you went over this already, but you can see that it covers the question or the little bit that I want to inform you on or want us to go over. 9A, okay, 3 to 9 here, where you can see where it says at the time that Acts was written, okay, Cicero, the capital of the province of Judea. And so you can review 9a 3 through 9 to help you with the comparing Cicero and the Cicero of Philippi, knowing what it is knowing the differences between Roman province and native province, looking at the separation on supplement 4 here, on the map that I had printed out for you, or in your book, and also talking about the different Herods, okay? And so let's go ahead, just so that you all can see that very clearly there. All right. But one thing I want you to talk about, let's turn to frames 9A, 20 to 25 to help us with this next section here. What I want you in your group to talk about is the Jewish custom of calling Gentiles. What do you think? What do they call Gentiles? They call them what? Not uncircumcised. Close though. Unclean. Okay? This was their custom, right? This was what they had practiced. And so I want you in your group to select one person to write down this question or this the answer to this. I want you in your group to identify some groups today who have similar ethnic or religious prejudices. Everyone understand the word prejudice? All right, like a negative attitude towards other beliefs or others. I guess, religions, okay? And so I want you in your group to identify some groups today who have similar ethnic or religious prejudices, okay? Like, how the Gentiles were called unclean. Does that make sense? And in your group, again, select one person to write down as many as possible, but don't just don't just list them and write them down, but discuss and also share why you listed or said this particular group of people. All right, so go ahead, do that right now. Select one person to write down, and then identify some groups in today's society or world who go through ethnic or religious prejudice. Mm-hmm. All right, give you guys about another minute or so, and then we're going to move forward here with some more discussion and reflection. Hmm. All right. All right, so our writers, who are our writers here? We'll go with our ladies first. I see Nataja. Go ahead, share with us some groups that face religious prejudice today. Or prejudice. Groups that face prejudice. It could be religious groups. Yes, to list groups today that have similar ethnic or religious prejudice, as the Gentiles did when they were called unclean. Oh no! In today's, well, what did you write down? Go ahead. Mhm. Okay. Yes. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, so groups that were prejudiced to others. That's where you went. Okay, that's the route you went. I guess that works too. You Jews. You Jews. All right. All right. Anything else? Mm, mhm. Mm, sure. Mhm. Good. Good. Anything else? All right. Let's move over here. Who's our writer? John? All right, John, go ahead and share with us your group's answers. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. All right. Mm. Mm. Keep going. Okay. Good. All right. Anything else? The Jews, of course, I guess. All right. Now, how do we as Christians today respond to people with strong prejudices? Hmm. Maybe some of you are prejudiced. Who knows? But but how do we as Christians respond to people with strong prejudices? Quickly in your groups, answer that question. Yeah, how should we as Christians respond to people with strong prejudices? Hmm. Did I hear somebody say they're going to seek out the KKK? they're, they're going to go seek out the KKK. All right, give you guys about another minute here. 1 minute. How do we as Christians respond to people with strong prejudices? All right, let's do about 30 seconds here. All right, everyone. So let's come back. So please, anyone, share some answers on how we as Christians should respond to people with strong prejudices. I know I heard some discussion there. Go ahead. Anyone? Don't associate with them? Yes. I mean, there is a, I don't know about screw them, but maybe don't associate yourself with them is not necessarily a wrong answer, but going beyond. Anyone else? All right, anyone else? Lead by example. We may have very close friends and family who have strong prejudices, right? Anyone else have an answer? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Anyone else? Okay, without a doubt, I'm sure all of us know individuals we work with or maybe even live with that have strong prejudices, even against, especially against Christianity, right? We have individuals in our lives, I'm sure, who will take offense to us if we were to ever talk to them about God, right? And so that's something. And they have a strong prejudice or negative or a very strong negative attitude towards any of those conversations. That's why a lot of people say a lot of people say this when we go out whenever families go out to eat dinner, leave religious conversations out of tonight's dinner. All right, and so that is something that's very common too. Because why does that happen? Because there are people who just don't, they're not Christians, or they don't have a certain faith, or they are atheists, okay? Stuff like that. Or even in our Hmong culture, we have people who are very headstrong, shaman, all right? Religious people, in which they don't want to hear anything about how, or about what you believe, okay? At the same time, we as Christians, there are prejudiced Christians, all right? Who just do, I guess it's like quote unquote Christians, okay? Who give this negative attitude, very judgmental, very, I would say even persecuting kind of language or action towards others who are not Christians, quote unquote, like them. I heard Alex say a little bit like the Pharisees, all right? And some teachers of the law who think that they are above other religions. But that's where we get people like Barnabas, where it ties into being more of a person who is driven by encouraging. And Barnabas is like him being, or Joseph, Barnabas, he has a gift of encouraging people. Now, the one thing I want to transition to next here is what are some ways in which people or ourselves can, we as Christians, be example of Barnabas in this kind of ministry, right? So maybe some of us are surrounded by prejudiced people all the time. But how can we be a Barnabas in this ministry that God has revealed to us? And so quickly in your group, answer that question. How can we be a Barnabas in this kind of ministry that God has revealed to us? All right, go ahead. Discuss in your groups and share with us or write down some answers, and then we'll go back to our person who is your writer, and that writer will represent your group and share some examples.